Welcome to another edition of IMO Sports with Pedro Justice. Iron Mike Tyson versus Roy Jones Jr. It's going down November 28th, right after Thanksgiving on the weekend. You're getting a fight that people have been waiting 18 to 20 years for. Really, even longer than that. I mean, this fight, since the mid 90s, everybody wanted to see this fight, but it just did not come to fruition in the early 2000s when Roy Jones became the heavyweight champion of the world. Mike Tyson was not interested at that time. But now at 54, Mike Tyson, and 51, Roy Jones Jr., it's going down. The Black Mamba shirt representing. This fight is happening. This exhibition is happening. Are you ready for it? Now, Roy Jones posted not too long ago that Iron Mike Tyson versus Roy Jones Jr. fight breaks pay-per-view pre-sale fight records, becomes the most anticipated pay-per-view fight of the decade. So they're putting a lot on it. It's going to be in the Staples Center in LA. And so what I'm going to do, the purpose of this video is basically to go over everything that has to do with this fight and set expectations and to increase your excitement over this. It's a entertainment spectacle, sports entertainment at its finest. And so let's get into this. I don't know what the record is. I don't know what that means, but it's a good, it's a good thing to put out there. Good title. So I want to give everybody respect. So I'm not going to breeze through this. We're going to go in depth to just so you can see and judge for yourself whether or not you want to pay $49.99 or basically $50 for this event, this pay-per-view event. First, Juiseppe Cusumano versus Nick Jones for the WBC USNBC heavyweight title. So that is an actual belt. And so they're going to fight for that heavyweight title. It's on this same card. This is the undercard. Now, Juiseppe, I have met him. I have interviewed him. He has an interview on my IMO Sports TV boxing channel, which you're watching this video on. And so he's a real great guy. He is moving up in his heavyweight career. And so this is an opportunity for him to be seen by millions and millions of fans out there who will watch this fight one way or the other. Make no mistake about it. 1 million people will be watching this fight. It's just, will it be legal or the other way? Next, we have up Irvin Gonzalez Jr. versus Edward Vasquez. It's for the WBC USNBC featherweight title. Real belt. So this is part of their career. Undercard still. Jermaine Ortiz versus Nair Albright. For the WBC USNBC silver lightweight title. So the undercard has 3 bouts for actual belts. And one of the guys we know, Juiseppe Cusumano, great young up-and-coming boxer. Check him out on my channel. Now let's move on to the main card. It starts off with Vidal Raleigh versus Rashad Couture. Okay, this is a fight. Then we have our boy Badou Jack versus Blake McLennan. I think he did MMA. Badou Jack is getting back in the ring. It's great to see him back. Last time we saw him, he had a nasty cut. So it's good to see him back fighting. And then we get to the entertainment of entertainment. Jake Paul, boo, versus Nate Robinson. NBA player versus YouTube star who caused a lot of trouble for people over the last couple of years with how YouTube has redone things because Jake and his brother Logan like to do crazy things. So I'm not a big fan of theirs. However, this is an event. His brother Logan is trying to get a fight with Floyd Mayweather. This is what they do. I'm not a big fan of Jake Paul or Logan Paul. So I'm rooting for Nate Robinson in this particular fight. And then we come to the main event, which is Mike Tyson versus Roy Jones Jr., what we've been waiting for over the last 20 plus years. Even if we haven't been alive almost that long, you've still been waiting for it. And that leads us into the question that's on everyone's mind. Is this going to be a real fight? Or is this going to be a fake fight? We'll have to define what that actually means, because to ask Roy Jones about this fight, ask Mike Tyson about this fight. This is going to be a real fight. But if you ask the commissioner, he's not too, he has things that he has to say. He's not too keen on this thing as being official. So the California State Athletic Commission executive director Andy Foster, he spoke to MMA Fighting to confirm the details surrounding the bout. So basically he said, let's call it an exhibition. That is what it is. I want the public to know what this is, because I don't want people to be disappointed. As long as they know this is an exhibition, I'm fine for everybody to earn. According to Foster, the rules surrounding the bout is much different than a sanctioned fight. He pointed out the similar situation that last September that former champion Julio Cesar Chavez returned for a 4-round exhibition against Jorge Arce. And let me go ahead and stop myself. Who cares? This is not going to be that, and I'll tell you why. He's saying all of these things, but it's not going to happen. So let's just go over the rules. The rules in place for this fight is the bout will take place over 8 rounds, 2 minutes each. So it's 2-minute rounds. So it's going to be 8 2-minute rounds. The boxers will not be required to wear headgear. Warning sign there. Tyson and Jones will be wearing 12-ounce gloves. Warning there. If either fighter suffers a bad cut, the exhibition is over. And they have gone through the VADA testing. And so you don't want Foster trying to sell this fight for you, because you won't break record sales if you do. Let me poke holes in what he's saying. He's just covering himself. He has to say this. This normally headgear. You have to have headgear in this exhibition. That's what's normal. And gloves would be normally, you'd probably wear 16-ounce gloves so they wouldn't be pillow punches. So why will they let them wear 12-ounce gloves? Why will they allow them not to wear headgear? And it says a bad cut. They didn't say a cut, so they could potentially have a cut and the fight continues to go on. Now, Mike Tyson is no stranger to exhibition fights. Like, we'll take a look here from the Fight Room YouTube channel. Subscribe to them. Look what happens in this exhibition where Mike's taking it easy on this guy. He's like, hey, I'll take it easy on you. Watch this. Watch what happens. Bow, bow, bow. Did he not get knocked down? Now, Foster wants to say no one's looking for a knockout. It's a hard sparring. But let's read between the lines. If a person gets knocked down or knocked out, it may happen in the course of throwing punches. So are these two not throwing punches at each other right now? And did not one guy not go down? So think about when you have 2 boxers in there. Let's also look at Oscar De La Hoya and Shaq. Now, before we look at them, let's go back here. Now, let's see what else he says here. Let's see what else he says here. It's something about the rules. He says there is no official judges. The WBC is going to have some guest celebrity judges remotely, not official, not 10-9 scores. Nothing like that. No cumulative score. No winner announced. And I call B, C. Look at this fight between Shaq and one Oscar De La Hoya. They were scoring this fight. This fight between Shaq and Oscar De La Hoya was scored, and they announced a winner. And after the fifth round, when they went to the scorecards, they announced a winner. So why would I believe, with them putting all of this money into everything, all of this show, all of this, that they're not going to have it? So that's why the WBC stepped in, created a frontline heavyweight title belt, and that they will also provide judges, because it has to be a competition. Look at young Carissa. So, I mean, this was a celebrity, a basketball player versus a actual boxer, and they still scored the fight. So I am not going to look at it as just nothing's going to happen. Now, let's see. Somebody who has interest in this fight. Oh, yeah. They're also going to have a weigh-in, and also they're going to have a face-off. So, again, they're building this as a real fight. If you are a boxing connoisseur and you like boxing, you will understand that when you get two competitive guys going at each other, if you've been in the gym before and you watch sparring, you enjoy it. You enjoy it. I mean, it's not as if you don't want to see two legends go at it. And in that, they have headgear when you spar. You have bigger gloves when you spar. So the fact they have only 12-inch gloves, the fact that they don't have headgear on, it just says, don't try to knock the guy out. But if it happens, it happens. Now, let's see here. Pay-per-view fight is going to be hosted. The event will be hosted by Mario Lopez. It's, again, like I said, it's November 28th at 8 p.m. Eastern time. The 3-hour main card will begin at 9 p.m. Eastern. The event will be pay-per-view. You can watch it on fight.tv through your local cable or satellite provider, and also streaming on Tyson on Triller.com for $49.99. They'll have commentators, I think Al Bernstein, Sugar Ray Leonard, Israel Adesanya. I mean, come on, guys. This is a lot. This is sports entertainment at its best. And let's see here. Ryan Kavanagh. He is a fight producer and Triller co-owner. And he basically said that this is going to be a real fight. He says, don't believe anything that you've heard is going down. It's going to be a great experience. And so he's selling this as a real fight. He's not selling this as anything. Here's what he said. Anyone who is saying this isn't a real fight, or there won't be a knockout or winner, is now realizing, this is real. I think people were just in disbelief that we're actually going to witness a real Tyson fight. But it is as real as it gets. There will be a winner. Knockouts are allowed. There will be scoring. Betting has been approved, says Ryan Kavanagh. There isn't a person who has watched the Tyson training videos on Triller that hasn't said this guy could actually be a heavyweight champion, blah, blah, blah. So basically, the co-owner of Triller and an executive producer in Hollywood, financier, bigwig, he's saying, we're putting on this event and it's going to be a real fight. Now, they're not going to try to kill each other, but it's going to be a real fight. And if someone gets knocked down or knocked out, it's part of it. And so they're paying these people. They're paying Roy and Mike Tyson. But how much are they paying them? Well, let us take a look at here. Mike Tyson, each will reportedly earn $10 million guaranteed. So Mike Tyson at 54, Roy Jones at 51 are getting $10 million guaranteed. Woo! That's crazy. Triller paid $50 million for the media rights, so they're going to really sell this. Jones and Tyson get $10 million each, and they could make 20 depending on pay-per-view buys. Sponsorship will also bring in extra money. Come on, man. I believe the way they're selling this event. Now, let's see here. Let's go back. Mike Tyson, Roy Jones, you know them. Jake Paul, Nate Robinson. You know these people. Badou Jack, you know him. So they have people who can bring their own audience. And then on the undercard, you'll get to know these people because they're up and coming. And so I think this gives you a lot of bang for its buck on all different levels. So Andy Foster, what he's saying, no one's pumping that up. I believe that they're going to go in there and that they're going to not try to hurt each other, but they're going to get competitive. And it's going to be boxing. And Roy Jones and Mike Tyson, they're going to get in the ring. And they're not going to just not try to knock each other down. I believe that Mike Tyson is going to start off one way, but let's just be honest. What do you think when you think of Mike Tyson? Unpredictability. Do you think Mike Tyson is going to get in there when he knows that Roy Jones Jr. was one of the best fighters of all time and just let it go and not try to get the victory? I don't believe that. I believe that both of these fighters are going to come in here and they're going to try to win this fight. And if the WBC is scoring, no matter what you think about the judges, they're scoring the fight and there will be a winner. And I believe once their competitive juices go, it'll be up to the referee to back them off, but they're going to go at it. And so that's what I want to see. That's what's exciting. Betting is allowed. So if betting's allowed, that means there's got to be a winner and a loser. So do you believe the commissioner and everything that he's saying, which you should read between the lines, or do you believe the Ryan, where the co-owner of Triller is saying that this is going to be a fight and there's going to be a winner and there's going to be a loser? Let me know what you think. Until next time, it's Pedro Justice.